Good morning, children. Welcome to biology class. Today again we'll continue chapter Morphology of flowering plants. And the topic is inflorescence. So children, you must have heard the word inflorescence. Now inflorescence means the arrangement and distribution of flowers on the floral axis. Flowers, they may be born maybe singly or sometimes they are found in clusters. So flower, it is said to be solitary when they occur in single, and if they are present in clusters, they form an inflorescence. The floral axis or the stalk on which the inflorescence is there, it is called as peduncle. A flat peduncle is known as receptacle. Now the solitary flowers, they may be terminal or they may be axillary. Terminal flowers, that means the flowers that developed at the tip of main stem and its branches, and axillary means which develop singly in the axil of foliage leaves. So what are the advantages of aggregation of flowers in an inflorescence? Because it makes a flower more conspicuous to attract insects for pollination. Sometimes flowers get pollinated by a single insect, and inflorescence combines economy with great chances of pollination and surety of abundant seed production. So there are 4 types of inflorescence: racemose, cymose, and mixed or specialized. So racemose inflorescence is indeterminate or indefinite inflorescence in which main axis or peduncle it continues to grow indefinitely and it is not terminated into a flower. It gives off flowers on lateral sides in equipetal manner. That means the lower or the outer flowers are older than the upper or the inner flowers. Racemose inflorescence is simple if the peduncle is unbranched and compound when the peduncle is branched. So in simple racemose inflorescence, flowers they are borne on unbranched peduncle and they are of several types: raceme, spike, catkin, Spedix, corimbose raceme, umbel, head or capitulum. So let's see about the raceme. Now children, in raceme inflorescence, the main axis, it is elongated and it bears flower laterally. The flowers they are arranged in equipetal succession. In spike, the main axis is elongated but the flowers they are sessile, that means no stalk is there, and arranged in equipetal succession. In catkin, like spike, they also have long and pendulous axis which bears unisexual sessile flowers. Spedix, so the spike it is long and it has fleshy floral axis which is covered with one or more colored spathe bracts. The male and female flowers, they are closely packed. Female flowers, they are borne at the basal portion, whereas male flowers, they are borne in the upper and they are sterile florets in the middle region and form downward here. So here children see figure 5.58, different types of raceme inflorescence. This is Racine Spike and catkin. In corium, peduncle is comparatively short and the flowers they are pedicellate. The lower flowers they have longer pedicels as compared to the upper flowers. So flowers they are more or less at one level. In corimbose raceme, now this corimbose raceme, it is the intermediate between corium and typical raceme, with the young flowers appearing corium-like, while the older ones they do not reach the upper level of the inflorescence. Next is umbel. So peduncle, it is short and the flowers they arise in groups from the same point. All the flowers they have the equal length of pedicels. Sometimes bracts are also present which form a whorl at the base. Now this whorl of bract it is known as involucre. Now head or capitulum. So the main axis of the peduncle it is flattened and it forms a receptacle which bears sessile small flowers called florets, and there are two types of flowers, the ray florets and the disc florets. The ray florets they are situated at the periphery and they have a flat tongue-shaped corolla, and the disc florets they are situated at the disc or the receptacle. Now these florets they are surrounded by a wall of bracts called involucre, like in sunflower. See here, this is the capitulum of sunflower. Now these are the disc florets, ray florets. As you see children that ray florets, the leaf they are larger as compared to the disc floret. Okay. Now come to compound racemose inflorescence. So in compound racemose, the peduncle it is or the main axis of the inflorescence it is branched, and the ultimate branches they bear flowers in equipetal succession or centripetal manner. Now they are of 6 types: panicle or compound raceme, then compound corium, compound umbel, compound spike or spike of spikes, compound Spedix, and compound capitulum. So, in compound raceme, the main axis it is branched and flowers they are borne in equipetal succession on lateral branches. In compound corium, so it is a modified corium where the axis it is branched and each branch bears a corium-like inflorescence. In compound umbel, the daughter umbels, which are known as umbellulals, they arise from a common point in an umbellate fashion. A wall of bracts called involucre, it is present at the base of the parent umbel. Similar whorls of bracts are also found at the bases of umbellals called involucres. Compound umbel, it is a characteristic family of umbelliferae. Now here are some examples of compound racemose inflorescence. Now this is the compound raceme, then compound corium and compound umbel. Compound spike or a spike of spikes. It is a very small spike with a reduced axis called as spikelet. The spikelet they arise in a racemose manner on the main axis, like in sugarcane or wheat. Now in compound Spedix, it is a Spedix in which axis is branched and the whole inflorescence is covered by a stiff boat-shaped common spathe, like in date and coconut. In compound capitulum, many daughter capitula they arise from a flattened receptacle at mother capitulum. Now come to Simus Inflorescence. So the primary axis of the peduncle terminates in a flower, but the growth continues throughout the lateral buds. Now these lateral buds, they give rise to lateral branches which bear flowers, and the flowers they arrange in basipetal or centrifugal succession. Now they are also of several types. Number one is uniparous or monochasal cyme. So in this, the main axis ends in a flower and produces a single lateral branch and bears a flower. Other lateral branches, they are produced in the same pattern. There are of two types, scorpioid and helicoid. In a scorpioid, which is also known as sinensis or rhaphidium, the lateral branches bearing flowers, they are at the tips, which develops alternately, forming a zigzag structure. So here the Simus Inflorescence. Now this is the scorpioid and helicoid. Then the biparous cyme and multiparous cyme. See here, this is the biparous, and next is multiparous. So in helicoid, which is also known as bostrix, the lateral branches, they bear flowers produced on the same side, forming a sort of curve or helix like in Drosera begonia. Biparous or dischasal cyme. Now the main axis, it ends in a flower and produces two lateral branches which behave like the parent axis, and inflorescence axis is multipodial like in jasmine, tea, harsingar, etc. Multiparous or polychasal cyme, the main axis, it ends in a flower but produces more than two lateral branches which also behave like the mother axis. Cymose head or glomerulum. So in this case, sessile or subsessile flowers are borne centrifugally around a receptacle. So here are the outline of the different inflorescences. This is Racine, Spike, Catkin, Spedix, Corimbos raceme, umbel, head or capitulum, compound umbel, uniparous or monochasal cyme, biparous and multiparous. So this is all for today, children. In our next class, we'll learn about the flowers. Till then, thank you and have a nice day.